Hi, this is my resin shed. It's a 7 foot by 7 foot Suncast shed that I purchased about a month ago. I happened to get this one from Home Depot. I was between Home Depot, Lowe's, and Costco. End up buying one of these types of sheds instead of a wooden one because the wooden ones are triple the cost. This shed plus the base that I put up myself, I'm going to say easily ran $1,000 with delivery also from Home Depot, maybe more like 1,100. I did struggle with putting this shed together. I did do it by myself, which the company doesn't recommend. What I want to do is just go over a few issues that I had putting it together to hopefully help you if you're in the market for one of these sheds or you're about to put yours together. This video, I didn't find anything like this online myself. I figured, what the heck? Let's check it out. Here are the directions for the Suncast shed. Comes in the box. I put everything, I found everything just like it asks you for here. Of course, you got to read through everything. And right off the bat, I got pretty annoyed because when you scroll down, you are going to go ahead and take the floor and you need to anchor it to whatever your base is. They don't give you the bolts for that. They tell you what to go and buy. So now all of a sudden you're running back to the store to go ahead and get those lag bolts. It was annoying. Then before you even start putting the shed together, you'll notice here that you are putting, for example, the plastic panels on the doors. You're getting things ready. That in itself took a while. Now on Home Depot site, it says it takes about 4.5 hours to put the shed together. It's going to take longer than that, in my opinion. It did for me. Even if there were two people, it was definitely going to take solid, I'd say 6 to 8 hours, really, to do this thing right. Then I just want to also point something out. You see that there are letters and there are numbers. The kit I got, everything was by number, but then the directions also have the letters, and you had to just keep going back and kind of fooling around with that. In other words, like flipping back and forth. It wasn't totally annoying, but it would have been nice if they just had labeled the parts with the letters. It would have been easier to find. Maybe I'm being picky. I don't think so. And I just want to let you know before you run out maybe and buy this. The other thing I wanted to point out, or one of the other things, and I'll show you in the picture in a minute, there are four pieces for the roof, and then these roof peaks, the parts of the roof on either side screw into this roof piece, from inside of the shed. Not so easy to do. Remember, this is plastic. The other thing with these pieces, over time, it took me a couple of days at least to get to this point. And then with those roof pieces, they were kind of bowing a little bit, which made it definitely hard to put this roof peak on the one side that wasn't attached until I had it up on the roof. I'll show you a trick I used, but it was definitely annoying. Okay, one other thing as I scroll down, I want to just show you is, okay, this is putting the walls in. Now, you're going to watch videos probably on YouTube just like I did, how it was so easy to go ahead and just put the tabs for these wall pieces, put them in and slide them into the base. It's not that easy. It's downright annoying. Yes, I ended up doing it, but it was absolutely annoying. I had no way of videotaping myself putting this together, which probably would have been a comedy show anyway, but I do want to point this out to you in step 17. This is the first wall piece you put in. So you slide it in on the short side and then you bring kind of part B around here and then you go ahead and put it into these slots. And you're told that before proceeding, you want to make sure that this corner is square, and if it isn't, you got to try again. Well, I was trying again. This is supposed to be flush. I thought it was. By the time I came all the way around and started assembling other pieces, including the roof, well, guess what? This wasn't flush with the base anymore. I'll show you what I did in a minute to fix that. It wasn't pretty, but I did get the job done, as you saw in the first picture. Anyway, let's get back. Here is the inside of the shed. Now, what I had to do is this peak here attaches on both sides underneath this metal piece which runs across to support the roof. The one side you do on the ground, you put the one side of the peak for the two roof panels, and then when you put the other roof panels on, somehow magically you're going to take these short screws and screw them in up into the other pieces of the roof. Well, the roof pieces were kind of warped at that point. I had no way of somebody applying pressure on the outside, and even if somebody was with me, I wasn't going to be comfortable with them climbing on the roof to try to hold it down while I screwed it in. So this is what I did. I ended up leaving this side of the peak unattached, and I put in the metal supports. These metal supports run from the center out to the edges of the shed. You can see that here on this side, and there's one here at the top by the peak, and then one here kind of midway down. I put those up. It happened to be a nice sunny day, and over time, the bowing it helped flatten out the roof. When I came the next day, I took them off, and I was able then to screw in the other side of the peak here into these two roof pieces. So that's my little hint to you. If anything is kind of, it's plastic, and when it's hot out and the sun's beating on it, of course, it's not going to get liquefied or anything, but it definitely bowed a little bit. I was able to unbow it. Okay, what you're looking at here is one of the very last steps. I put the doors on. I'm supposed to, of course, put the handles on, etc., etc. And yes, as you can see, this is totally out of alignment. The door on the left is up too high, and the door here on the right is down too low. In fact, the door on the right is scraping the base. And here on the left, it's lifted up. I definitely had a problem. What do I do about it? Well, the first thing was I went to that starting corner I was telling you about, and let me get the picture up. Well, this is actually after. What happened was, I can't find the picture. The base was lifted off, the plastic base that you get with the shed was lifted off of my platform. And this corner, which I started with, which they warned you about, mine was flush with the base, but the base wasn't flush with my platform. All right, so I went inside of the shed, pushed my foot down, and when I did that, I pushed this plastic base down, but I didn't push the wall down. And sure enough, this starting point for the whole darn shed, this little tabby thing that you slide in, popped out. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. So here it is. My entire starting corner is now separated from this base. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So this whole entire corner, both this wall and this wall, are lifted up because I pushed down on the floor to make it flush with my wooden base. Now, what was I going to do at this point? Was I going to take the entire shed apart? I figured, call the company. I've done that before. I've had success with that. Well, of course, it was a weekend. Not only was it a weekend, it's Easter weekend. Everybody is off. Did I really want to wait too long? I really wanted to get this done while I had the chance. I'm not going to necessarily recommend this, but this is what I did. If I had to do it all over again and I had a chance to call the company, I would have. I literally took a Sawzall and I cut this off. You'll see in a minute the piece that I cut off. Over on this side, there are tabs that just fit in, so I didn't have to cut those off. But I had to cut this one off that faces the front, because you're supposed to put it in over here, remember, and slide it in, which I was having a problem with anyway. Let's take a look at my fix. Well, you can see the Sawzall in the background, and here's the piece that I cut off. And what I ended up doing was putting in some L brackets that I'm attaching the wall of the shed and the floor of the shed. Here's the side view of that piece that I cut off. All right, yeah, I started over here on the right hand side, and I figured let me get that close and back into the base. Then you can see I have the other brackets lined up here, and lo and behold, what I had to do actually is I had to slip some extra 4x4s I had underneath my platform, because it was only going through that like plywood that I had, which wasn't enough of a grip. So I had to kind of button up my platform, my wooden platform, so I'd really have something to bolt it down into. And sure enough, as I was doing it and I was tightening those bolts, the walls came in and are sitting exactly as they're supposed to with the floor. Well, even then, when that was all said and done, my doors worked their way out. They are now, of course, where they're supposed to be. You can pretty much see in this picture, I still have a problem to this day. And here it is. Hold on. I got to get the right here. Because remember, it's plastic again. The doors are not sitting flush kind of with the shed, even though they are, perfect now. They're sitting correctly. I can lock it in the middle, the lock, a little sliding bolt that they gave you, or they'll give you in the package. And so for this, I'm going to eventually put a sliding bolt so I can keep this flush. Because of course, when it rains, as you can see, the rain can come in. This is not because of my assembly. This is from these plastic doors being slightly warped. Well, that leads us to the end of the video. Do I think it was worth it? Was it a good value? What problems did you have maybe that I haven't had yet? Did anybody else have that corner problem? Did you solve it the same way? Did you do something different? If you want to chime in the comments below, that would be awesome. I'm sure there are going to be people that watch this before they even buy the shed. I really don't have a strong opinion either way. It's going to work for what we need it for. I think it'll last a while. Once it's together, it seems pretty good. It is not completely watertight, tight rather. If I had the money, if I had an extra couple of grand to spend, would I get a wooden one? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. And I'd have somebody put it together. Money's tight, but we still needed the storage, so we went with this. I don't think it's a bad product by Suncast by any stretch of the imagination. You just want to know what you're getting yourself into, unlike myself. Good luck with it. I hope this helped. Enjoy the rest of your day. And of course, thanks for watching.